The GTA 6 leak situation is absolutely out of control at this point. There have been so many leaks. So many of them have turned out to be completely fake. So many of them have been true. So many of them had gotten confirmed and then proven that they were false, and the other way around also. At this point, we do not know what to honestly expect. Now, granted, I want to know if GTA 6 is going to be woke or not. How is that going to work? Because there have been still a lot of concerns about the game, and, well, none of them have honestly gotten better, okay? First is the CEO lying about stuff, saying that, oh, developers, you can't actually make bad things about this certain group of people, these individuals, because that would be bad. And needless to say, if you're a GTA 6, well, GTA fan in general, you know that, well, every time that you try to limit what people can talk about, you just end up getting a first product. That is just the reality. This is why wokeness always fails and collapses, because it's just boring. It's just dull. If you're supposed to write a story, but 75% of the topics that exist in the world and references are unavailable to you because they're offensive or some garbage like that, well, you can't make anything good. And that is the big fear with GTA 6 currently. The unconfirmed Pride Parade stuff also is still just hanging in the air at this point, and no one knows what is it real or not, or what's happening. It is an absolute mess. And we're getting more leaks. Great stuff.
Grand Theft Auto 6 just got another huge leak, and we are looking at what could be our first confirmed GTA 6 online leak. Over the last couple of weeks, we have been deep into the trenches of leak season for this game, and today's information comes from probably one of the most reliable sources possible, and that is Juicy Legal Documents. A fired employee has gone on record about internal testings of GTA 6 Online, where they specifically mentioned a lobby size that has the entire community talking. Now, we also have Jason Schreier dropping a bombshell recently about how Sony is effectively securing GTA 6 as a marketing exclusive, which could dictate exactly when we see our first real gameplay of this game. And if that wasn't enough, we also have plot leaks and gameplay leaks to talk about that are pretty intriguing. So today we'll be breaking it all down. We're also going to talk about when we're getting trailer 3. So without further delay, let's go ahead and dive in. So starting things off, we have our first real leak for GTA 6 Online, and this information is coming directly from court documents that were revealed during the ongoing legal battle regarding the firing of Rockstar developers and the whole, Rockstar versus the union situation. And as a part of the evidence, private Discord messages were read out, and one exchange from October 16th, 2025, just a few months ago, gives us a concrete number to go off of. The fired employee venting about the workload wrote this quote exactly. Absolutely no.
I hope all of those losers in unions get fired. If you're joining a union, congratulations. You just willingly chose to put a stamp of inability on yourself. You just willingly chose to tell everyone, every employer out there openly, that you are incompetent. Because only incompetent people who are fearful, oh no, they're gonna figure out that I'm trash at my job, join unions. Well, unless I guess you're like a garbage man in America, which those unions actually work. Now, there are situations where unions are good, but 9 out of 10 unions are literally just gonna take a portion of your salary, and then those people at the top are gonna use it to, go to the Bahamas to, have a meeting or some shit. It's so absolutely redundantly stupid.
Idea. They mentioned the large session we did today being difficult to do, but that was 32 players. Not sure how that was difficult. Now, this news coming out has immediately had the community reacting, with some people wondering why only 32 players. GTA Online on PS5 already supports 30. Isn't this supposed to be next gen? And why don't we have 100 players? Which you have to understand, I get it.
Yeah, that would be a good question, because everyone wants more players.
I've been dreaming of having like 5M style servers with GTA 6 online. And then there's other industry standard games like Fortnite who put 100 people on a map. So we all kind of assume the GTA 6 should be able to match that. So us hearing that a 32-player session was considered difficult less than a year before launch does sound worrying on paper. But let's kind of look at the developer's mindset.
Everything GTA 6 leak related to a degree sounds worrying at this point. That is the big problem. That is fundamentally the biggest problem GTA 6 currently has. From the developers' leaks, from the CEO's words, to the stuff that we're getting. Again, I already talked about this. The map. If the current map project is correct, then we're not getting anything as massive as we expected. Like, Vice City is going to be 1/5 of the map, and Vice City itself is not a big place. Vice City is an awesome place, but it's not a big place. So, man, it does make me worry. It does make me worry a lot.
Why was it difficult? Well, because the game isn't finished yet. If they've already got like working code on the Rage engine for 30-player lobbies, cranking up to 32 players using like similar net code and stuff like that probably isn't too difficult. But when you're in active development, you're running debug builds. These builds are not optimized. They're tracking every bullet trajectory, every physic interaction, every line of code to catch bugs. So running 32 players on a heavy, unoptimized debug build is going to be infinitely more taxing on the server than running 32 players on a polished.
Oh, I don't care. I'm not the developer of GTA 6. I could not care less. If it's hard, well, fucking tough. But do it. I don't care. I absolutely hate this when these channels defend the, oh no, don't be mad at the multi-billionaire trillion-dollar industry and company that they are simply not putting more resources into making the thing good. Oh, poor developers. Have you been a developer? It's really hard to make it. I don't care. I couldn't care less, in fact. I'm a consumer. My job is to play the thing, and if it's bad for whatever fucking reason, then I'm gonna say it's bad. I don't care it's hard to code something. I don't care it's hard to do this or do that. Not my problem, not my job. I hate when people do this, pull this.
Build. Also, the scaling right here is the key concept. You don't immediately start with 100 players with this. You start with 5 and then go to 10 and then go to 32. And if 32 is too difficult in October 2025, it means that this was likely their stress test limit at that time. It's pretty obvious that they're limit testing. They're not going to immediately scale up to 100.
What do you mean limit testing? The game was supposed to be out this year, last year, but it's not. It should be finished. We were told that currently they're just optimizing and polishing things. Well, what do you mean stress testing or limit testing? It should have already been done.
Like right off the bat. Again, if they're using like similar net code to GTA Online, that already works with 30 players. So if they jump into things and 32 players works fine, or it's, really difficult, then they're going to have to do some optimizing and, testing to see the limits so that then they can, go back and develop on. My prediction, I think they'll likely land around the 40, maybe even 50 to 60 player range. And that's for like the official launch.
60 players is acceptable, okay? I want a lot of players, obviously, but let's be real. You don't want actually a lobby where you run into a player every 10 seconds. That's kind of dull.
We're going to start off a lot smaller because, once the game does launch, those servers are about to be fully cooked. Like, I am not expecting to play GTA 6 online on launch day. I've got a feeling we're going to have to wait quite a while before we can actually jump into things. But I will say, like, if they decide to go with 32 players, that feels way too small for a map that is rumored to be twice the size of Los Santos. You would literally never see anyone almost. But, if they go with like 100 players, that might feel too chaotic for the official servers where they want to kind of, control the economy and the mission structure. So it could be that, 50 to 60 players is the sweet spot where it's like, enough to keep the world alive, but not too many that these servers melt on day one, even though they're going to melt regardless. But at the bare minimum, we should expect to have 32 players at launch for GTA 6, but I personally see them doubling that number. So next up, according to Jason Schreier, arguably one of the most reliable industry insiders, apparently Sony is treating GTA 6 like it's a first-party title. Schreier recently stated in a podcast, PlayStation will be the main platform for the game. It's kind of like a PlayStation exclusive, and I suspect that Sony is planning its entire calendar around GTA. They will not release anything within the blast area of that game. He went on to say that while the game is obviously coming to Xbox, Sony has likely secured the marketing rights, which just kind of changes the entire landscape of 2026. We've seen.
Yeah, at first I was like, wait, isn't this gonna be an exclusive? Because it was an exclusive previously, right? Well, on GTA 5, you needed to wait, what was it, a month until you can play it on PC or something like that? Which is a soft form of exclusivity, which someone is paying you for. I thought it was Xbox, but yeah, it was actually Sony. Previously, this already happened. So, I mean, everyone wants GTA as an exclusive. If you want to sell your stupid dying console, you better get GTA 6 on it and exclusively, okay? That is the only exclusive that matters. Exclusives lost so much of their value, power, and appeal because, well, all of the exclusives are dog water nowadays. But this is big.
This before with Call of Duty and Hogwarts Legacy. It means that every time you see a GTA 6 trailer on TV, it will likely end with the PlayStation logo. It means that if there is an official console bundle, it will likely be the PlayStation 5 or the PS5 Pro respectively. But what I think is most important is it could change when we actually see this gameplay. Sony historically, holds a major state of play or PlayStation showcase in September. And if GTA 6 is releasing in November, pending no delays, please no delays, a September showcase could be the perfect time for the gameplay deep dive if we actually get a release this year. So imagine this scenario. It's September 2026. Sony announces a massive showcase, and in that event, they show off a trailer of gameplay running on the PlayStation 5 Pro. They show off the ray tracing, and hopefully they show the 60 FPS mode, which, we'll talk about that in a different video. And then, of course, they show off all of the other DualSense features that I'm sure it'll come with. Now, if Jason Schreier is right, Sony is clearing the deck, essentially. They will not release any major first-party titles in November if GTA 6 is releasing then. They're going to let GTA 6 basically carry the holiday sales and more, which this kind of confirms that the PlayStation 5 Pro is effectively going to be marketed as the GTA 6 machine, if what Jason Schreier is saying is indeed real. So now let's talk about...
Yeah, because Jason Schreier is not an idiot who has, failed multiple times.
The immediate future. When are we actually going to see more of GTA 6? We are already rounding out January, and we already have a next event to look forward to, which is February 3rd, 2026, which is, Take-Two's investors call for Q3. Now, of course, you're going to ask, why does this matter? Well, it's the same thing every single year. We go through this every year. Well, this is when Take-Two Interactive loves to pump their stock price before these calls. They want to be able to jump on the phone with investors and say, look at all the engagement numbers. GTA 6 is releasing this year. Get hyped. We've got a great lineup and you guys need to spend your money on us. Now, there is a very strong possibility that we see new content, whether it's trailer 3 or even like a significant screenshot dump before the February 3rd deadline. Now, if you consider the timeline, the last major update was months ago. We've been kind of starved with information. If they drop a trailer 3 in January, the internet will explode, the hype resets, and then February 3rd, Strauss Zelnick can get on the call with investors and be like, our trailer reached this many views, and the anticipation is at an all-time high. Now, if we don't get a trailer, I think screenshots are a smart move. We need to...
I mean, it's GTA 6. The anticipation is always sky high.
To see more of the world, we need to see the HUD. We need to see something to keep the conversation going. Silence right now is completely, disastrous, because it lets the, further delay rumors, fester. Jason Schreier mentioned that he would be shocked if the game slipped to 2027. So right now, at the very least, Rockstar needs to show confidence. A trailer before the earnings call is the ultimate power move to kind of prove that they can hit that, November 19th release date. Now, if we get past February with nothing, I wouldn't, worry too much. But if we're like in spring or like even sometime in the middle of summer and we don't have any news, that right there is when I would start to get pretty concerned. Finally, let's go ahead and get into some of the juicy stuff. So this is a plot leak that I initially dismissed when it first surfaced, but due to recent firings, it has gained quite a bit of credibility. A Reddit post from late 2023 detailed specific plot and mechanic points that at the time sounded like fan fiction, but here's the kicker. Rockstar confirmed they fired an employee in November 2023.
This is about the dual character. You can control either Lucy or the dude or both of them at the same time. So this is pretty much confirmed. There's gonna be no cop gameplay, which is sad. That would have been interesting, from the both sides. You see what happens, and would be interesting. Would be actually really good storytelling. But that's seemingly not happening now. In any case, actual leak-wise, there's probably nothing new. But there has been a lot. The discussion is wild. Anyway, 10 out of 10. That was Short after? No. This was West Nemo. West Nemo, bye!